Well, Week 13 in the NFL kicks off tonight. Cowboys hosting the Redskins, but really, who cares? It's all about the Sunday main slate. I'm Adam Kaufman. Usual crew is here. Pearce, Dietrich, and Pat Mayo right in the middle there. Geoff, Ulrich, another lovable loser this week. This is Matchups Breakdown. I can only hope, guys, that the real show is as fun as the off-air show. We'll do our best, though. All right, it is... Well, I guess, Pearce, I got to go directly to you and skip the Canadians. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was all right. I was on the road the whole time, but no one wants to hear that sad story.
All right, we'll save our stories for a little bit later on. But for now, we always begin with the results from the previous week's four-man competition. In this case, just the three-game Thanksgiving slate. That's all we had, so nothing of particular bragging right rooting interest on Sunday. That was a little bit sad. As far as the Thanksgiving slate, though, Pat won in just an absolute massacre. Slaughtered Geoff like a turkey, 163-88. It was not even close. Geoff, how do you explain yourself?
I suck.
Straight and to the point. But two straight losses for you. We talked about this a little bit during the injury report yesterday. You've caught kind of a tough road right here.
It's tough times at the Ulrich household, I'm not going to lie. Two straight losses. I had to dress up as a pilgrim last episode. I have to eat something terrible this one. Look, Christmas is coming. We'll try and turn things around here. I'm going to do my best. That's all I can do.
Mayo, that 163 was really impressive. I hope you played that lineup elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I only made one. That's the good thing about actually having like a legitimate contest between the four of us. Not like super stupid rules. You can only spend $20,000. Just give me a normal lineup to play, and I do pretty well.
See? The advice is worth taking from these guys. Now, the punishment this week, well, it's odd. I don't really get it. Mayo, what's happening here?
All right, so Geoff needs to eat a raw sweet potato. Only one bite. Wash it down. He'll be good to go. Payment delivered.
Why? Like, what made you think of this?
Oh, I didn't think of it at all. I frankly don't really care. Unless I'm punishing you, I don't really care.
Okay.
So I just asked the guy who was sitting next to me when I found out that I won. I was just like, hey, what should I make this guy do? He's like, I don't know, eat a raw sweet potato. I was like, that's stupid. Let's do that.
And there was an email thread where this was announced, and maybe the thing that boggled my mind most was Mayo dished out the punishment, and the response from Geoff was, yeah, no problem, I got some of those lying around. Why?
Who doesn't have sweet potatoes lying around? And the weird part was that he puts them in the refrigerator.
Also true.
I don't know. I don't handle the shopping in my house. I just do what my wife tells me, to be honest. So they were in the fridge. I'm not going to lie. Pearce, straightened me out. He got mad at me. He said, those don't go in the fridge, bro. So I took it out today. I took it out.
He definitely didn't say bro.
That's a pretty accurate Pearce impression, I must say.
I did not say bro.
So, all right, well,
I don't know. I implied the bro. In your head, I think you were saying bro. But anyways, I've taken it out. I washed it. It's de-thawed. It's been shaved. I'm ready to go. I mean, let's go.
What, is this a now thing, Mayo, or is this later? Whatever you want.
Yeah, let's do it right now. Let's get it out of the way.
All right, go ahead.
I'm going to be chewing on this the whole show if it tastes anything good, because I'm kind of hungry. So.
Oh, yeah, get that in there, that big piece.
This is good.
Oh, so you like it. That sucks.
That's hardly a punishment.
No,
another is going in again.
I'm eating this the entire show now. I mean.
Oh,
I'd say it's too delicious.
All right, let's go.
This is gross. All right, I don't think we've seen the up-to-date leaderboard. Let's check that out. If you have, we'll look at it again really quickly here because I'm so busy turning my back to talk to these guys. I'm opening up a little bit of a breathing room here. Of course, there's a lot of time left, admittedly. If I fall into a slump, I could fall out of this thing because we are only entering Week 13. But these guys, three-way tie for second right now. I'm atop with the 5 wins, but then 10-10-10 after that 14. You see the point system there. So this could be interesting. This could come down to the wire a little bit. I don't know if we have any sort of punishment for the ultimate loser at the end of the season or if we should even bother with that. I guess we can think about it at some point. But let's dive into the show here. As usual, we're going to detail this week's contest.
Hold on a second,
please. No, go ahead.
Are we running this through the playoffs?
Guess we haven't thought that far ahead. We can. Would you like to? We'll decide right now.
Let's do it.
Okay, through the playoffs it is. That was easy.
I guess Pearce and I don't get a vote.
Well, even if you did, you've already got 2 in the pro column.
I'm just kidding. I don't care. Let's run it through. Run it through next year. Good for me.
Just keep eating your raw sweet potato, would you?
I'm going to.
That is so gross. Oh, he's doing it again. Just disgusting. We'll detail this week's contest later in the show, special team segment. This one's going to require a little bit of work on everybody's part, too, but again, later. So we are mostly here to talk football and analyze the Sunday slate. Get your questions in. You know how to do it right there on the Facebook Live platform. Leave them. We'll see them. We'll get them to the guys before we're done in about a little less than a half hour, and you'll be on your way. But 13 games. 13 on the main slate. No more buys. It's perfect for Week 13. First spotlight, guys, it's Anchors, the Don't Get Too Cute segment, where we're going to look at all the studs you got to make sure to have exposure to. Mayo, the winner, please, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to start off with DeAndre Hopkins at $7,300. I mean, it's a good positive game script, hopefully, against the Titans. Either they throw to DeAndre Hopkins and he scores touchdowns and they get up by a bunch, or they're crappy Houston. Tennessee scores points, and then they have to throw to DeAndre Hopkins to catch up in that spot. But people are just looking at Tom Savage and being like, well, DeAndre Hopkins is pretty useless now. But just go look at what he's done in really tough matchups the last 3 weeks. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, he's averaging basically 20 DK points every single week. And now he finally has a good matchup with the positive game script. I see no reason not to play him.
Well, and you consider, too, back in Week 4, I think it was, against this defense, had 10 catches, 12 targets, over 100 yards, a touchdown, but that was with Deshaun Watson, not Tom Savage. You're not worried about that element. Do you worry about the foot issue at all, or you're good? Play him.
No, I'm fine with the foot issue. He said he was dealing with it last week, too. Didn't make much of a difference on Monday night.
125. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so, Geoff, if you can fit us in between bites.
All right, I'm going to go to running back. I like Carlos Hyde this week, 5,900. Lots of factors here. We'll start with the Bears defense, who really has not been good the last couple games. They're starting to fall apart as a team. I kind of think that they don't really care to have John Fox back next year. They've allowed 3 100-yard rushing games, or I should say, in 3 of their last 4 games, they've allowed opposing running backs to garner over 100 yards on the ground. So that's a good sign right off the bat. We got a pretty good matchup. And Carlos Hyde is just getting a ridiculous amount of targets right now. He's averaging 9 over his last 4 games. He's actually seen 10 or more over 3 of those last 4. So this is a guy's getting major PPR usage. And one of the big factors for me is Jimmy Garoppolo starting this week. He gets an upgrade at quarterback. And what do you do when you get a new quarterback in a system he's not 100% sure on? Well, you give him nice, easy passes to the RB, who's a pretty good pass catcher. So I think this is a really good spot. I think Carlos Hyde could finally capitalize on all these targets. PPR, DraftKings, etc., DraftKings scoring. I think it's a great spot for Carlos Hyde. And at under 6K, I think he's kind of a lock for me.
Well, and what went – go ahead.
I have a question about Carlos Hyde, because I too like Carlos Hyde this week. But what's the difference between him and Kenyon Drake and Jamal Williams, who are like $1,000 cheaper?
Well, first of all, Jamal Williams, I mean, I don't think he's going to get anywhere near involved in the pass game. I still like him. But and Kenyon Drake's, I don't mind, but the matchup may be not quite as good. I don't mind Kenyon Drake, but I really feel like Carlos Hyde with Garoppolo, the matchup, I feel like I'd still rather pay up for that. Miami is just kind of a terrible team, and I know San Francisco isn't exactly, top of the league either, but I feel like that spot with Garoppolo and a quarterback, I feel like the upside there is better.
Well, how about this? And you could tell me if I'm wrong, just as a difference to kind of answer your question, Mayo. Jimmy Garoppolo is just a better quarterback, I think, than Jay Cutler is. So if you're
okay. So put it in this context then. Jay Cutler has an average ADOT of like just over 7. So all he does is dump off. And if we're going to be talking about receptions, it seemed like Kenyon Drake, who's in line to play basically every single snap, is going to pick up like 5, 6, 7 catches in this game because that's all they're going to have. With Jimmy Garoppolo being a better quarterback, maybe he can actually complete a pass to someone who's not the running back.
I mean, I'll actually give you – sorry, I forgot Miami was playing Denver too. So, I mean, the matchup is a pretty big thing for me. I mean, I agree that the PPR with Drake is probably going to be nice this week, and I definitely don't hate him at under 5K, but you got to come back to the Denver rush D, which has been pretty good this week. So I'd still favor Carlos Hyde just because of that.
At least 7 catches, 2 of his last 3 games, Carlos Hyde. Pearce.
Adding on to the Kenyon Drake, if Pat is going to recommend Drake, then you probably should consider him because Pat hates Kenyon Drake. But he's going to be playing somebody down. So, Pat has spent at least 3 episodes on here crushing him and loving Damian Williams. Well, can't really do that anymore. So he's going to get a lot of carries against a really good, maybe, defense. We'll see. It's a lot of carries, a lot of opportunity there.
Denver's D's given up like 30 points basically every week.
Yeah.
They're also playing the Dolphins, who I don't think have ever scored 30 points in their life. So,
Pearce, your play.
Cooper Kupp, Sammy Watkins, probably going to be shadowed by dealing with Patrick Peterson. Robert Woods is out. Josh Reynolds is not 100% healthy. There's going to be a lot of passing. The Rams pass the ball, so Cooper Kupp is going to get plenty of targets. You've got two of the fastest-paced offenses in football, and the Cardinals struggle against wide receivers in the slot. Cooper Kupp has been one of them that's already hit them for a pretty good game this year. You've got Doug Baldwin. You've got Nelson Aguilar, Golden Tate, Bruce Ellington, even Adam Humphries. Yes, that Adam Humphries had a good game in the slot against the Arizona Cardinals. Bryce Butler scored 17 points against the Cardinals out of the slot. I'm not really worried about it. I mean, obviously, when you got Patrick Peterson, it's going to funnel targets somewhere. It's going to the slot receiver. He's going to deal with the Honey Badger, which I don't think is the greatest. Honey Badger is good, but he's not going to shut down Kupp. Half the time, he's going to be dealing with Justin Bethel, probably the worst cornerback in football. Also, Kupp, 5th most red zone targets in football. He doesn't have the touchdowns to show for it, but at some point, there's going to be a positive regression. I would believe it's going to be this week.
Kupp was targeted 10 times in Week 7 against this Cardinals team, or against this Cardinals team, I should say. And you acknowledged too the whole Patrick Peterson factor. While he's busy with Sammy Watkins, probably opportunity there. Geoff, I saw you. I'm going to call you out here because you weren't on camera for this, but you're picking around a little bit. You getting some of this stuff in your teeth?
Yes.
Is it a problem already?
No, it's good. We're good. Keep rolling. As far as Cooper Kupp goes, I mean, I don't mind him. I mean, he's over $6K now. I feel like if Josh Reynolds is healthy, if he practices tomorrow, I'd kind of rather pay down for him. Reynolds almost caught multiple touchdowns last week, and he's a much better red zone target. So I don't mind Cooper Kupp. He's a little pricey now, though, but I feel like Josh Reynolds might be the best value of that group.
Well, Cobb, can I just lead into the next segment then?
By all means, take it away.
Rams stack. Just play them both. Play Goff, play Kupp, play Josh Reynolds. Don't worry about Sammy Watkins, and boom, win the monies.
So as Mayo told you right there, we'll let these guys chime in more. But we're doing stacks here. You got your anchor, same team, game, whatever it may be, where you're looking. You heard from Mayo there, and there's a lot of opportunity, obviously, when you think about that Rams passing game outside of that Watkins factor. Pearce, go ahead.
I'm going to go with the Jaguars. This one might seem a little out there, but the Jags defense is really a no-brainer. I know a lot of people don't like to pay up for a defense. That's fine with me. I will take the lower ownership and the differentiation for a team that can get you 4X and has a lot of safety. You've got the team with the #1 pass rush against the worst pass protection DVOA, the team with the most sacks versus the team that gets sacked the most. I know Jacoby Brissett doesn't throw a lot of interceptions, but that's because he's busy being sacked and has one of the worst completion rates in football. So the Jags are going to be dealing with a short field, and we want to attack with their offense. Colts 28th pass DVOA, but 13th against the run. You can't completely abandon the run. I know the Colts don't give up a lot of rushing yards, but they also give up the 3rd most rushing touchdowns. So you got to take a running back from the Jags. It's not Leonard Fournette. You don't take Fournette. He's not healthy. He can't run the ball out of shotgun, and Bortles can't pass out of under center. So every time they go under center, it's obvious they're going to run the ball, and they've been getting shut down. TJ Yeldon is the better play. He's been really good against the Colts in the past. Same thing with Blake Bortles. Really good history against the Colts. Got 20 fantasy points already this year. He's running ball too, which is a little bit of dealing with the Fournette issue. They're getting 7 guys in the box. They're keying on Fournette when they run under center, and that's why you saw that bootleg for a touchdown, and you're seeing him run out of shotgun. Bortles is going to score a lot of points in this game, and I really like Yeldon as kind of the outside guy that no one wants to take, but really you're just chasing touchdowns on the ground with the Colts.
Geoff, before you go, Pearce, you said no Fournette. Mayo, you look like you'd seen Bigfoot or something like that. Did you have any response?
Yeah, if Fournette doesn't get 20-plus carries in this game, I will be just shocked. Shocked.
Their offense is better with Yeldon back there. He's facing 7 guys in the box, 8 guys in the box. He's not going to get yards. If you're going against the Colts,
the Colts' run defense is pretty pathetic. Let's not forget about that.
It's been decent against the run this year. I just don't see it out of Fournette. He's not running well. He's not 100% healthy. Their offense works better with Yeldon. It just does.
Pass.
They should pass. In the first matchup, they didn't run the ball as much. They passed.
Okay, well, the guy that you don't have in your stack, then you should probably check in Dede Westbrook, because Allen Hurns probably isn't going to play, and Allen Hurns kills the Colts in every single matchup. So if he's not going to be playing, then that's probably going to be Dede Westbrook's spot. He's only $4,100.
Yeah, I don't mind Cole either.
Geoff?
I was really wondering who Pearce was going to recommend this week. I thought he was going to go to Geno Smith, but he came back to avoid.
No one can.
He came back to Bortles service.
I would play Geno over Bortles.
Oh, no. That's crazy. That's crazy talk.
Geno.
The Giants are a mess.
Geno.
Mess. No way.
Who's gonna help him? Is it just gonna be a huge Ingram game, and that's what you're looking for?
Yeah.
What, with Geno?
Yeah.
Geno throws to Ingram, he throws to Shepard. It's the easiest triple stack ever.
He's not even going to play the full game. They're going to bring in the backup for half the snaps.
No, Eli's the backup.
Eli wants to be quit. He has to be released.
No, Eli's going to be back. If he's not released, Eli's going to be the second stringer here. Geno's getting this whole game.
He's not even going to go out there. We've seen this before. Eli's done. Game over.
Yeah, he's going to be the second stringer. Geno's going to play the entire game. We've seen Geno put up these greasy performances before.
All right, Geoff, your stack.
I'll give you Geno versus Bortles head-to-head.
All right, we're spending way too much time on Blake Bortles and Geno Smith. So my
that.
stack actually has some good quarterbacks in it, or one good quarterback, because that's all you're allowed to play. It's Cam Newton. I'm stacking him with Devin Funchess. It looks like Marcus Latimer might miss this week again, and that is big news because the Saints' defense has not been the same without him in the lineup. He didn't practice today. If he doesn't go, I definitely stack Cam with Funchess, but I do like going back the other way with Michael Thomas in this game too. Carolina's been really good against running backs, and I know New Orleans has been running on everyone. You could still play Kamara here if you don't think that this is a good idea, but given that the fact that the Panthers have been so bad against wide receivers of late, they let Jermaine Kearse and Robbie Anderson post 100-yard games last week. I think going for a Michael Thomas game, getting him at a bit lower ownership, thinking this is the week where he finally outscores Kamara and Ingram, I think that's a good play this week. And, you can use Cam and Thomas on their own if you're not sure about Funchess, but Funchess has been really – the thing that's impressed me about him is that it's not so much as getting more targets. He's increasing his production with those targets. His average reception rate, his average length of reception has gone way up. It's around almost 17 over the last 3 games since Benjamin left. So you're getting those big plays from him. I like Cam a lot in this game. Definitely like coming back with Thomas, but I think this is a great game to stack. 25
targets the last 3 weeks for him without Benjamin, which is good. Plus, the Cam Newton being good in the Superdome factor, I think, is relevant. And as you noted with Jared Goff, just absolutely exploited that Saints defense last week. It's just a question for me is, does Cam bounce back after a bad week?
I mean, he hasn't really been playing that bad. I mean, he's been going rushing touchdowns, and, I mean, he doesn't have any interceptions over his last 3 games, but you're right about one thing. He has played good in the Superdome. 3 of his last 4 games against the Saints, 300 yards passing and at least 2 passing touchdowns. So
I would just worry if Marshawn Lattimore, he practiced today, but he's still not for sure going to play. If he does play, it kind of worries me.
No, I agree. That's why I said, you don't necessarily have to use Cam with one of his receivers because I do think that really downgrades Funchess. So maybe just use him and Thomas.
All right, let's go to the bargain bin here. We're looking for value. You know how this works. And, of course, you want to put them with your top-tier players since you've got a little room in your budget there. So, Pearce, please give us another wacky prediction.
Well, thanks a lot. Hey, man, these wacky predictions often come true. Brett Hundley, we're going to go back to this well. And I know a lot of people out there are saying, this dude just looked at the box score. I understand. One of his touchdowns was blown coverage. There was no one near a guy. And another touchdown was just really bad coverage. The receiver was 5 yards away from the quarterback. And another touchdown was a screen pass. I get it. But if there's a team that can blow coverage, play bad coverage, or allow screen passes for touchdowns, it's probably the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Packers' offensive line is healthy. Hundley's got plenty of weapons. All he has to do is just get the ball to those weapons. That's what he did last week. And it really wasn't much of a problem. He's got Tampa Bay at home. They are the 30th in DVOA. They've allowed a passing touchdown every single week. They allowed 40 yards rushing to Cam Newton. They allowed over 40 yards rushing to Tyrod Taylor. I understand that he burnt a lot of people the week we played him against the Saints. Well, guess what? The Saints were a lot better than we thought they were. Tampa Bay is not better than what we think they are. Brett Hundley, if you look at his 5 starts, 2 were close to 3X, 2 were over 3X, and then 1 was against the Ravens. They're pretty good. They crushed them.
This is Narrative Street. I don't know that you subscribe to this one because even still it's a little bit of a reach. But with the reports that Aaron Rodgers could be back week 15, a couple weeks from now, do you believe in the whole play better when there's more pressure and a guy breathing down your neck, all that with Hundley?
Well, Hundley just wants to win games. They're not completely out of this yet. There is a small road to the playoffs. And if he can win the next couple games, Rodgers is going to come back. The only way Hundley does it, it's weird. If Hundley loses games, he'll probably keep his spot because they won't rush Rodgers back.
Mayo, give us a guy you love almost as much as Mark Ingram.
All right, so Kenyon Drake is my play here. I mean, I prefer Jamal Williams around a similar price, but I think that everyone in the world prefers Jamal Williams. So if you're looking to pivot just a little bit, I would still use Williams, but I think Drake's in a really good spot too. I think you can actually use them both. Williams actually has 4 catches in each of the past 2 games, by the way, and playing over 95% of the snaps. That's pretty good. Kenyon Drake probably also going to play over 95% of the snaps here. I already mentioned with Jay Cutler, 7.1 ADOT on passes so far. We know the pass rush for Denver is going to be coming at him full force. So what's he have to do? Either take sacks or dump the ball off to the guy standing next to him. And the guy standing next to him is Kenyon Drake. He can see double-digit targets in this game. I don't love Drake. I don't think he's particularly good, but he is just a product of volume. And when you can get volume from him and Williams at that price tag, you use those guys.
Give you one stat we can't ignore here. The Broncos have allowed 9 touchdowns to opposing running backs the last 4 games, and a couple of the defensive linemen are hurt, banged up, don't know if they'll play. So that's significant as well, I would think, Mayo.
Yeah, and there's going to be no Talib here, so if it's just the fact that you can get someone downfield to maybe stretch it out a little bit so all the defense just can't collapse near the line of scrimmage, that benefits Drake even more.
Geoff?
I mean, I'll say this. I like Drake better than Jamal Williams for sure. I mean, I think Drake is more likely to see a big role in the passing game. And you guys are right. I mean, Denver's defense, I probably overrated it a bit earlier. They've really been falling apart. That being said, there's a guy I like better than both of those guys, and it's Marshawn Lynch at 4,800. The fact is, the Raiders started the week out at about 6.5 favorites. Now they're pushing almost 10 points with this Geno Smith news. They gave Marshawn Lynch 29 touches of the ball last week. The OC has finally... The Raiders played this all fancy with Marshawn Lynch. Oh, we got to limit him at the start of the year. We can't give him too many carries. And then they lost a bunch of games. And now they're in desperation mode, and they pretty much have to give Marshawn Lynch as much as he can take. Giants literally have no healthy linebackers, and I'm not being facetious. They literally have no healthy linebackers. This is a monster spot for Marshawn Lynch. If he gets 25 touches again, he's going to find the end zone. He's probably going to get a little bit involved in the pass game. I think he's got bigger upside than both those guys we've been talking about, so I like him in the spot a ton.
Well, so no Michael Crabtree. We know he's suspended the 1 game now, down from 2. Amari Cooper may not play, the concussion, the ankle. So how much does that even elevate your hope, your expectation for Marshawn Lynch to have a big week as well?
I mean, I actually think I'd rather like Cooper or Crabtree be there just because it's just going to help the offense be more efficient. But they're going to run him as much as possible. And if they get out to a lead, they'll do what they did last week and probably try and get him 25 touches.
Did you say Amari Cooper is going to make the offense efficient? Give me a break.
Yeah, I don't know if he's better than Johnny Holton anymore. That's a legit question. But like I said, I feel like they're really going to give Lynch a lot of carries in this game.
Well, 26 carries last week. Next segment here gives the guys an opportunity to go off the wall. A guy who might be a reach, home run. We'll see how it plays out here. Mayo, let's begin with you with someone that I was floored when I read this.
Well, you shouldn't be so floored anymore because it came out earlier today that Adrian Peterson did not practice Thursday with a neck injury. Now, I made this pick before I heard that news because I didn't give a crap either way. I like DJ Foster at $3,000 in this spot up against the Rams. What was the one thing that we saw even before Peterson got there and then the games in between when they were actually underdogs and trailing was they still threw the ball to Andre Ellington over and over. He was just such a cheap source of receptions. And then last week, Kerwin Williams steps into that role, and he starts getting work. Then he hurts his ribs. He's not going to play. And then you see, hey, Arizona, in that game, it's competitive. They need to throw the ball because there's a big pass rush coming at them. What happens? Well, DJ Foster plays 25% of the snaps. Now, if Peterson's out, I would expect him to be around like 40 to 50% of those snaps. But even if Peterson plays, projecting him around 30% to 40% of the snaps isn't outrageous because that's what the pass-catching back does for Arizona when they're behind in games. Now, if you believe Vegas, and they actually are 7.5-point underdogs, expect them to be passing for a lot of this game. He is $3,000. And some people say, hey, you know what, 9 points isn't really helping me, even if he gets to 3x. He can get more than that. He can end up with like, I don't know, 6 for 60 in this game, and he has big play potential. He can take one to the house. Ask anyone who's watching college football, because that's in my entire Twitter stream today, just being like, yeah, DJ Foster rules. DJ Foster's awesome. And Cobb, you saw him in New England. People love DJ Foster.
He's quick. People are fans. He's got a lot of speed there, could break off the big play. There's no question about that. Geoff?
Yeah, I definitely I'm down with DJ Foster this week, too. I got to admit, definitely a lot of potential there. But I got another guy with a lot of potential. I'm going back to the Raiders. And I did a diagram just so I can
Oh, please.
Show people what's going to happen in the Raiders game. This is Cordell Patterson. He's going to the house this week. Okay? In Cordell Patterson's career, for every 6.83 rush attempts he's had, he's scored a touchdown. 41 carries. He's scored a touchdown on less than 7 of those attempts.
Can we get that again right in front of the screen?
Ball this week. The Giants suck. Unleash the CPAT.
Give us another visual of that thing real quick.
Look how sad the Giants are.
We already knew that.
I mean, it's art. It is art. Pearce.
I wish we could have got some McAdoo on there. That would have been pretty awesome. No McAdoo art, huh?
No room.
No. Braxton Miller. I'm going with Braxton Miller. Maybe another one crazy off the wall. We all know Will Fuller's out, and Bruce Ellington's in play as well. We know Tennessee, one of the worst pass defenses. But if you look specifically, they are the worst in football against the short pass. They're actually pretty good against long passes. Now, Hopkins is fine. When Hopkins put up big numbers against Patrick Peterson, basically means you can play Hopkins anywhere. It doesn't matter who his quarterback is. But Braxton Miller, no one's talking about him. 5 of his 6 targets last week were short passes. He had 5 catches for 43 yards. Not really that impressive, but it was against Baltimore. They are one of the best teams against wide receivers 1, 2, and 3, and they are the best in football against short passes. Now he gets the worst team in football against short passes. Tennessee plays zone D or runs the zone blitz, which means you're not going to hit big passes. You got to find quick spots, holes in the zones, quick passes, and it really helps if you got a smart wide receiver or a wide receiver that used to be a quarterback that red blitzes every single down.
I can't believe you're taking him over my guy, Bruce Ellington.
Yeah, the Bruce of Ellington has just been dissed.
I can't believe we almost had a show where Bruce Ellington didn't come up. Cooper Kupp is the lock every week, but you got to get Ellington in as well. All right, last segment, guys. Special teams. Now, we do the 4-man each week. I'll show you the standings one more time after Mayo's latest win over Geoff, his second straight loss. You can see how things look. I'm up there with 14. These guys behind at 10 apiece. And so getting a little more interesting. It's getting tighter here. This week's contest, though, is going to take a little bit of smarts or at the very least some research. Saturday, SEC championship game between Georgia and Auburn. So this contest is all SEC. That is the goal. All SEC players.
Well, I can't hear you.
Oh, man, I knew you were going to do this at one point. I'm going to watch college football. I'm not going to go through and Wikipedia page all these players.
Yeah, you also act like, I have as much time as you do to do this stuff.
Good news. Good news, because I actually fall into that same category as you. Our producer, Tom, has already gone through. He found a link. He found a place that lists all the SEC players in the NFL. So you can just go to that page. You can pick at your pleasure. You have a whole bunch of wide receivers. There have some decent running back and tight end options. Here's one thing, though. I'll give you a heads up. As far as, well, first the defense. I'm a little surprised you didn't even ask about this. As far as the defense, has to be from a team in the same state as an SEC school. So here are the choices that you have. I'm going to spell them out for you. Try and save you as much brain power as possible.
Jacksonville.
Can you just send me an email with all this stuff?
Yeah, eventually.
We've already picked Jacksonville.
Or
I'm just going to memorize all the defenses I can use. I think this is why you win every week. You're the only person that knows the goddamn rules.
We're going to need you to go back and rewatch the show just to get us some clicks, some views. Falcons, Texans, Jags, Chiefs, Dolphins, Saints, Bucks, Titans. Those are your eligible defenses. Quarterbacks. This will be incredibly easy to remember. You'll make your decision right this minute. You only have 3 options. Quarterbacks who went to SEC schools. Cam, Matt Stafford, Jay Cutler.
So we're all using Cam. Perfect.
After that,
Pearce still use Cutler.
Just to make a point, because he can't use Geno. After that, you'll be, in a position where you can mix it up at receiver. We'll have a little variation at that point. But, well, I guess I don't need to ask you what you think of it, because you already feel like it's too much homework for you.
I'm gonna have to head down to the local. I'm gonna have to head down to the local university and interrupt one of the physics classes to get this one in this week. So that'll be fun.
One thing I do know is that we'll all be too lazy to go back and see if anybody cheated. So at least there's that.
No, Pat won't be. No, he will not.
All right. Let's get you guys involved. We got a lot of questions. Been taking them all show long on Facebook Live. Let's start. Let's get the first one up. Too much talking from me anyway. From Anthony. Des Bryant or Orleans Darkwa as a flex. What do you think? Mayo, you look disgusted.
It's so sad that it's come to this point that's like a legit question. If you look back at the Thanksgiving game with the Giants, after Orleans Darkwa put the ball on the ground, Gallman came in and actually ended up out-snapping Orleans Darkwa in that game. Now, I don't know if they go back to him. I actually think that the running game might get enhanced a little bit with Geno Smith, because the one thing that usually comes hand in hand with a running quarterback is it does mean someone has to watch him while he kind of bootlegs out, leaving one fewer player in the box. So that's just a best-case scenario for what could happen. With Dez, he's going to be dealing with Norman all game long, and that's not good. So do you go with Dez, who looks like a shell of himself, or a guy who could be in a three-way split at running back on a really, really crappy team? I'll go with Darkwa. Maybe he scores a touchdown.
Honestly, this must be a season-long question, and if the person is watching, I mean, go pick up like Marquise Goodwin or like Josh Reynolds and take a shot with them.
Or Seth Roberts.
Oh, Seth Roberts sucks. Don't pick up
Seth Roberts better than Cordero Patterson. Give me a break.
Yeah, pick somebody up. There are plenty of guys out
how
there.
fast he's running in the sticks of that.
Grow up, Geoff.
All this Dez disrespect, too. I'm not saying it's not deserved, but it's remarkable that it's come to this, like you said, Mayo. Another question here. Again, get them in on Facebook Live from Andrew. Biggest upside this week, Brandon Cooks or Devontae Adams? Anyone?
Cooks.
That's very close. Cooks, I mean, the Buffalo has struggled against wide receiver one recently, but I love that Brett Hundley just feeds the ball to Devontae Adams. Last year I thought Devontae Adams just put up, inflated numbers because the Packers were always in passing situations without a running back. But this guy's pretty good, so I'd rather go with Devontae Adams against a really bad pass defense.
I have both these guys inside of my top 12 just overall rankings for the week, but it looks like Chris Hogan's not going to play again. And every game that Chris Hogan has missed so far this season, Brandon Cooks is getting a target share around 35%. And I'll take the guy with Tom Brady throwing him the ball in a good matchup as well.
I kind of agree with Pearce in that I really like Devontae Adams, but it would be hard for me to start him over Cooks.
No artwork to back it up either. Okay, let's keep rolling along with the questions, and we'll be out of here in a few minutes, but we want to get through all these first. Justin, Kelsey or Ertz? Pearce.
I'm probably going to go with Kelsey. I just don't want to deal with Seattle on the road at night.
I like Kelsey as well. The Jets have not been covering the tight end all that well this season.
I'm going to go Ertz. I mean, I just don't really fear anything about Seattle at this point, especially with their defense. I don't know. I feel like the Philly offense has been so good. I know they spread it around, but I trust the Philly offense to score some points more than I do KC right now.
You look so bothered with that raw sweet potato in your teeth, just fumbling along, although it's just miserable, but I respect it. I do. Way more bites than you needed. Okay, let's keep them coming along here.
It tasted good.
There's no way it does. From Ron, what about Quiz Rodgers? What do you think? Jaquiz, Geoff?
No. I will never play Quiz Rodgers. He's only in the NFL because it's got a fancy name.
I get it. Like, if it's a season-long spot, he's probably the best of the Tampa running backs, but you're still dealing with a three-way split if Doug Martin sits. So Quiz Rodgers might work between the 20s. Charles Simmons is going to be in on every passing down, and we saw last week they used Peyton Barber near the goal line. There's no upside to go.
Hey, Rodgers really didn't do much when he had an opportunity early this season. In Green Bay, if I'm going to attack them, I want to attack them through the air, not on the ground.
Yeah, play Mike Evans. We haven't talked about Mike Evans. Mike Evans is in a really good spot. I like DeAndre Hopkins. I like Pat's call to start, but it's really close between him and Mike Evans.
It's going to be Cameron Brate week with Jameis Winston back.
Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Did you get that website, Pearce? Do you ever get that website going?
Can't make Cameron Brate again? I don't know. We need to Google that.
I think it was taken, but check it out while we're on. From Justin, Jameis Winston and Mike Evans stack. Mayo.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go with that, I would throw on another Bucs player, too. Whether it's Brate, whether it's Deshaun Jackson, I would pick one other to go as a part of that stack and really try to capitalize if the Bucs score a lot of points. But frankly, with Jameis' shoulder, I don't know where that's at right now. It's good enough to play, but, I mean, if he takes one bad hit, he could fall out. So I think just Mike Evans is probably the play from the Bucs.
Jameis is a little risky. Sorry, go ahead, Pearce.
Well, I would take anyone. I mean, Evans is going to be fine. He's going to run short routes, deep routes. I like Brate on the short routes. Winston wasn't a good deep ball passer to begin with, and he's got the shoulder injury. So, Evans, you definitely take him because Kevin King is not even that great of a cornerback, and he's injured. Just Green Bay's secondary, not good. We saw Antonio Brown put up a monster number on them. Evans is fine. Brate's fine, but I don't trust anyone else.
I'm not that worried about Jameis personally. I mean, he obviously took the time off to get at least semi-healed, and I mean, he's kind of like he just throws caution to the wind and just goes head first into the end zone half the time. So I feel like he's got pretty good upside in this matchup. I kind of like that stack, to be honest. And bring it back with Devontae Adams.
Okay.
Or Jamal Williams.
Another choice there as well. Let us continue. Another question, please. From Nick. You on the Rex Burkhead train? We know the usage is way up for Rex. What do you think, Geoff?
How much does the ticket cost?
One sweet potato.
I'm honestly not really on Rex this week. It's such a guessing game between who's going to get the touchdowns. I know he's been getting a lot of red zone looks, but Marshawn Lynch down there, we talked about Drake and Williams. I'd rather pay down for those guys this week.
Yeah, I'd rather pay for Williams and Drake. I mean, I'm not huge on Marshawn. That's probably a wash for me. But I think that Dion Lewis is the Patriots' back that you want against the Bills. I mean, yes, the Bills shut down Kareem Hunt last week. It's the first running back they've shut down in 3 weeks. They still don't have a very good run defense, so take the guy that gets most of the touches and takes the ball on the ground.
Yeah, well, the Bills shutting down Kareem Hunt wasn't the first team to shut down Kareem Hunt either. He's been just burning people's money at this point. Dion Lewis, Pat's right, that's the running back you take against Buffalo, but still, do you really want to play the Belichick running back guessing game if you don't have to?
No, and I don't think you have to this week.
No, that's exactly.
Okay, let's move right along here. Again, questions in on Facebook Live from Brian. Howard or Hunt? Well, I know you guys are not high on Hunt.
It's Howard. I mean, that's the one part of this matchup that no one's talking about. Everyone wants to talk about Hyde, and I know that Jordan Howard doesn't really get involved that much in the passing game, but the Bears are a favorite in this game. Their defense has the second best pass rush in the league going up against a bottom 10 offensive line. Like, the key to victory for the Bears every single week is run Jordan Howard 30 times and hope the defense can create a turnover, maybe a short field. I actually don't mind those two paired together. You're going to stack that, Howard, Bears D, and just hope Jimmy Garoppolo is not ready for his first start. But it's not like the Niners D is any good. You can run all over them.
Please, Jimmy G is going to destroy Chicago.
Hometown, Narrative Street, baby.
Weeks ago, we loved Howard against Green Bay, but Green Bay's decent against the run. We went heavy, and the game script just did not play out. This is such a better matchup, favored against San Francisco. It's got to be a Howard week. It's got to be 30 to 35 carries.
The Bears are really falling apart the last couple weeks. I agree. Like everything they
What's San Francisco doing? Are they coming together?
Well, they got a quarterback at least. I mean, I think they've won more games than the Bears the last 3 weeks. So
I'm telling you, you can't
honestly, I'd go Hunt. I know he hasn't scored since like the beginning of time, but KC's got to get it together at some point. I still would rather go Hunt than Howard here.
I don't think I just don't believe Garoppolo knows what's going on. You just cannot show up and figure out the offense like that.
Hey, Jacoby Brissett did it.
Doesn't happen that way.
Hometown game.
Great.
Narrative Street. Narrative Street. All right, 4 questions left. Down to our final 4. Let us go. We're almost there, guys. Andrew, Dede, Westbrook, or Josh Gordon? Josh Gordon. We haven't really talked about him. First game since 2014.
It's Dede Westbrook. Get out of here with the Josh Gordon stuff. Wait a week. Wait a week on Josh Gordon. He's not going to do it. He's got a tough matchup.
He's got a brutal matchup. He hasn't played in 2 years, and Dede Westbrook's been seeing his snap count go up and up and up every single week. And now he gets a great matchup up against Indy, and Allen Hurns is going to play. This is going to be glorious, and everyone wants to play Josh Gordon this week. Like, Dede Westbrook's going to be like a 10th of the ownership of Josh Gordon, and he might be a better player right now. We don't know anything about Josh Gordon. We saw him kind of catching balls in practice on a Twitter video. Great.
I know something about Josh Gordon. He absolutely dominated the last time he played. So,
I mean, it's actually not true, by the way. The last time he played, he did not dominate. It was the suspension before that he actually dominated.
All right. Well, I've gotten my suspensions confused. I don't know. I do agree. I'm just kidding around. I mean, Dede Westbrook has to be the play. There's so much coach speak and weirdness going on with Josh Gordon. Hugh Jackson says he's going to play him as much as he can. Could be 10% of the snaps. Could be like 100%. I don't know. I mean, you just realize the risk you're taking with Josh Gordon, because literally he could play like 10 snaps, catch no balls, or he could catch like a 50-yard touchdown.
Just don't even worry about it. He plays for the Browns. What offensive player for the Browns this year has performed well? They have a horrible offensive line. They have a horrible quarterback. You can't play any of them.
I mean, if you just have to break it down to the spot where, let's call Bortles and Kaiser a wash. They're both no good. So there's one thing. You're now dealing with a team that has the number 1 and 2 pass rushers in the league coming at you with the best corner, like the 12th best corner, and Denzel Perriman's back. Like, at least with the Colts, they have no pass rush and their secondary sucks.
Jeez, Geoff. You stand up
I'm
after
a
that?
sucker for guys with huge talent, and I love the Josh Gordon story, but I'm still not playing him this week. So, I mean, Pat's right. Just play Dede Westbrook.
Okay, let's go. A few more. Let's see what you got from Justin. Derek Carr, Jared Cook, Raiders defense stack.
The Raiders defense sucks, and they don't get turnovers, by the way.
That's a no from Pat.
I just played Cordell Patterson with the Raiders defense. I actually wouldn't play Derek Carr because I feel like the Raiders are going to score on the ground a lot with Lynch or Patterson or something like that. So I don't mind the Raiders D. I know they're not good. They are getting David Amerson back this week, though. Obviously, they get Geno Smith, who hasn't played in like forever. So I do like the Raiders D, and you can stack them with Lynch or Patterson.
Yeah, Raiders D, it's a little cute, but Geno Smith sucks, and the Giants are terrible. So that's a decent spot. But I refuse to play Jared Cook. I refuse to buy into Jared Cook chalk. Yeah. This is not going to work out.
I'm all off Jared Cook chalk. I agree 100%.
Giants get touchdowns, but Cook doesn't score touchdowns.
We didn't even really talk about this at all. I mean, you brought up the Jags D, and I agree. They're super expensive. Like, what do you think the most played D is here? Like, the best D? I think it's the Ravens at 3,100, isn't it?
I like the Titans a lot.
The Chargers are there as well.
The Chargers are $4,000 though. The Ravens are wildly underpriced for some reason.
The Ravens are going to lose though, so they're not going to be a good play.
But they have the Lions have no offensive line, and Baltimore is the number 1 DVOA defense. They have 3 shutouts this year.
I actually really like Tennessee. I would pay up for them if you can get up.
Save your cash. 2 more. 2 questions left. From Justin again. Cobb, 3,900. Nelson, 4,400. Who's the better play?
Neither.
Yeah, I think there are better, cheaper receivers out there.
Probably.
I'm not playing over these guys.
If I had a gun to my head, I'd probably take Cobb.
Those guys
because
just pained,
the reason why
pained by that question.
A lot of Brett Hundley's throws are going like 1 yard, and they're all going on these short screens, and that's what they use Cobb more as.
Okay, last one. Let's finish strong here. Last question. Let's bring it up. Pearce, Mayo, or Geoff? I'll let you guys hit this one.
Geoff with the sweet potato today.
Please, it's clearly Pat Mayo. Everyone knows that.
Who's this question for? Maybe God. He's going to let one of us up there. And that's it.
If I get to choose, it has to be Geoff. It just has to be. I mean, not only is he eating that awful potato the entire show, which who knows how long that was in the refrigerator for some godforsaken reasons.
After this show too, like it's
just
good.
Gross. But he brings artwork to the table as well. Has to be Geoff today, at least. Anyway, taking his 2 straight losses in stride. Go for 3, buddy. You can do it. What a champ. All right, it's going to do it for this week's Matchups Breakdown. I don't even care about their final thoughts. We've gone on long enough. Join us next Thursday, 5 Eastern. In the meantime, you can keep your eyes on DKTV. All the latest nonstop action ahead of Week 13 begins tonight, of course. I encourage you to go back on Facebook Live, rewatch this show, NFL Injury Report. We did that yesterday. A lot of great information you don't want to miss. And get us on Twitter @DKLive. All right, for Mayo, for Geoff, for Pearce, Kaufman, see you later.